I think it was close. I think Giannis played really well. I saw the Bucks are like favored by 4 or something.
Yeah.
That feels Trap City betting on Brooklyn, because if I don't gamble, and if I did, I would bet the farm on Brooklyn, and that tells me that
I'm going to knock on wood as I say this, because I did bet on the Bucks, but I believe in my heart of hearts, they have to win this game. And you asked her, like,
it's a must-win? You're saying this is a must-win? You can't go down 3-0
if they lose this game, Bud is getting fired tonight.
You're saying if they go down 3-0 to one of the most talented teams in NBA history, they're in trouble.
It's over.
They're really hurting.
I mean, I think Bud might get fired that night. So they have to win this game. I think the thing that I am not looking forward to, I think they win tonight. I'm saying all this knowing that someone already knows what happened.
No, that's what I'm saying. Call your shot. So just say it. Like,
I do think they win tonight, and I think we go into Game 4 and we're excited, and then they get beat down again.
I think what everyone listening to us talking right now just saw last night was that Giannis balled out. The Bucks gave it all they could, and it still wasn't enough. And the empire of player empowerment, the empire of players calling their shots, demanding for trades, and all that, it wins again.
Yeah,
the villains win.
Yeah,
the evil empire wins out, and the Nets are up 3-0 as everyone's listening.
If KD sweeps Giannis, I mean, he is going to be on, because he hate. I mean, you know what I mean. Like, I know Jay Williams thing happened, but like you can just tell just the way he goes.
KD told you at the party one time how much he hated Giannis, right?
Yeah, that's right. We had
when you were recording the pod with Bill that one time, KD pulled you aside and was like, "Hey,
hey, quick story."
He said, "Don't tell anybody."
Yeah, don't go and get up and tell Mike Greenberg about this.
But
he's definitely going at Giannis, which is great for basketball. But if he sweeps them, I mean, I don't know how the Bucks respond to that, because you have done everything you can other than get Bogdanovich. And what I was thinking the other day when I was watching them in Brooklyn was, if Atlanta just would have just sucked like they should have and let Bogdanovich go to the Bucks, then the Bucks would have one more scoring piece.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the Bucks are trying to outscore the Nets. Why?
Yeah.
Why are you trying to outscore? You're never going to outscore Kevin Durant. Like, why don't you give them 75 possessions and milk every single, like, Giannis.
Walk the ball off the floor.
Yeah. Giannis, just dribble there. Don't even shoot it. Just like let the shot clock go off and give him the ball back.
When you get offensive rebounds, kick it out and let's milk some more.
Milk clock. That's what I'm saying.
4 corners.
Now you're talking.
When the shot clock goes off.
Now you're talking Carolina basketball. You know
when the shot clock goes off, challenge the call and say that no, the shot clock did not actually go off. We could steal our ball.
Don't let Kevin Durant beat you.
But I saw today the Nets are basically a coin flip to win the title, which to me seemed insane given that there are 8 teams left, and as of this recording, they're only 2 games into the second round series.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like they're
and
still,
James Harden is hurt.
And James Harden is hurt, and the Nets are still a coin flip. Tate. You're saying that that even though the Jazz are were the best team record wise in the NBA all year, and I think the Jazz are the second favorites betting now, right? To win the title.
Yeah.
In your mind, it all falls on the Philadelphia 76ers to
or the Phoenix Suns.
Okay.
Or Jokic. It's a
not
big.
gonna be Jokic.
It's probably not going to be the Nuggets. But I think, like, for me, it just has to be a legitimate 5, which is like Kevin Durant can't hide.
Why not the Jazz? Why not Gobert?
Because Gobert's not a legitimate
I've talked
5.
myself into the Jazz, by the way.
Gobert is the best defensive player 5 that we have, but I'm talking about like someone that has to put the own, like Brook Lopez could do it. Like Brook Lopez has the low post ability to like take Kevin Durant down the block and body him and make him work on defense and tire him out. And I would actually love to see that. But I know that Joel Embiid's going to do that. I know that DeAndre Ayton's going to do that. I know Nikola Jokic is going to do that and make them work from the 5 spot. And I don't think Blake Griffin matches up well with those guys as well as he does with Giannis. He's a great matchup for Giannis because he's big. He can match up with him size-wise, but he's not a big, like our true 5. Joel, Ayton, Jokic, and Gobert. I mean, Gobert's in there.
Gobert in there. So if the Nets sign Kofi Cockburn, it's a wrap.
I think LaMarcus Aldridge was like a big loss for them because they needed that kind of 5. You know what I mean? Like DeAndre Jordan doesn't play. Maybe they use him if they get into a finals against Ayton and the Suns, but we'll see.
I've talked myself back into the Jazz, by the way, because after Game 1 when they lost to the Grizzlies, I remember looking you in the eye, sitting in this chair right here, and saying that it feels like the Jazz all hate each other. That was a misread. That was a misfire on my part. I think that was a... That was
a Game 1 anomaly.
That was my Game 1 like overreaction. I was like, I don't think they hate each other. I think they lost the game.
I mean, I said the Grizzlies are going to win the series, so
So I've been studying the Jazz more, and it turns out when they're winning, they seem to like each other more than when they're losing. And I'm talking to myself, which is a dangerous spot to be in because I I have not only talked myself into the Jazz actually being NBA title not contenders, like maybe even favorites. Like the Jazz might do this, Tate. Is what I'm saying to myself when I'm falling asleep at night. The Jazz are going to do this. It's not just the Jazz. It is Mike Conley as a whole that I've talked myself into this being the year of Mike Conley. He makes the All-Star team for the first time. He wins an Oscar-ish. Some people are saying he didn't, but they're haters and they don't count.
Yes.
He did win an Oscar, right?
Yes.
He's an Oscar winner.
That's what I say. He was a producer on an Oscar-winning film.
What else do you want?
It's so facto he's an Oscar winner.
And the Olympics are coming up, and no one wants to play in these Olympics.
Nobody.
And
LeBron literally dismissed them.
Everyone's out on the Olympics. Mike Conley is going to get the call. I'm crossing my fingers that because Mike Conley will do it. His father won a gold medal in Barcelona in '92 doing triple jump.
I think Dame Lillard should do it too.
I know.
That was the other name.
I have wanted Mike to be in the Olympics forever, not just because I want Mike to.
No, but it's cool for the Conley family.
It's cool for the Conley family. I think it's great for the USA team. He's the perfect point guard.
And again, for the people at home, it's an Olympic sport.
It is. Mike's perfect, though, because he's not trying, like, on a team full of guys that are all the best players on their team and are used to taking all the shots. Mike Conley will gladly take 4 shots a game and move the ball and facilitate.
Play defense. He's actually
he's perfect. That's what I'm saying. And he always gets, like, the final call to the final training camp every Olympics that comes around. Yeah. And then gets cut at the last second for, like...
Well, he's been in the worst group of guard, like, as far as the talent that he's had to deal with, whether it be D. Rose and those guys early on, like Westbrook, D. Rose, Curry, John Wall. Like, he's always had, like, 5 All-Stars in front of him. So
I'm talking myself into this being the year of Mike, and he's going to win the NBA title, and then he's going to go win a gold medal, and then he's got to retire at that point, I think. That's the bad part. He's going to have to retire.
Because Marc Gasol already won one with the Raptors. So it would be great if Gasol and Conley both get their titles separately.
Would Verno be happy for those guys? You think he would?
You have to be.
We have to be, but we're not Verno. We're not.
Hell, I'm happy for Mike. Yeah, I think he's happy.
Yeah, he is publicly, but like Verno's a.
I think deep down, he's so happy with John Moran that he's like. He's like happy for Mike because he like feels less bad about how much he loves John Moran.
I'm kidding. I love Verno. Don't everyone calm down.
Don't aggregate this.
What else do you want to talk about? Can I make a point about DeAndre Ayton?
Please.
He's playing well. You mentioned that you thought there's a chance this might be a Kofi Coburn, Cameron Krutwig situation where Jokic is just running circles around him. Jokic isn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, but he does look tired. But he always looks tired. That's the confusing thing about Jokic.
I was gonna say DeAndre Ayton. That comparison was before the series started, and it was my biggest fear. In the fact
you didn't say you thought it was gonna happen. You said I
was scared.
You were scared.
I was scared.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Jokic scares me.
And I think Chris Paul is getting a lot of love for this series. Obviously, Devin Booker is going to get a lot of shine no matter what the Suns do.
Yep.
But I think DeAndre Ayton deserves. Not that people aren't giving him credit, but I think like that is kind of the takeaway of this series for me so far is that DeAndre Ayton is holding his own against Jokic in that head-to-head matchup, which is that's not how basketball works. We know that, but it kind of
is in this situation.
Ish. Yeah, and the matchup that we thought that not that we thought Ayton was bad, but like Jokic is the MVP of the league. DeAndre Ayton's a young player playing his first playoffs. Is Jokic going to run circles around him? That is not the case. DeAndre Ayton's been awesome, and I just wanted to mention that. So.
And what is every situation, when you look at the Nuggets when they've been successful, what have they had that has sort of stifled Jokic? Well, it was when Anthony Davis moved to the 5. When he played the Clippers, they didn't have a 5. They had Zubac they couldn't even put on the floor with him, and Montrezl Harrell they could put on the floor with him. So when you put a real traditional 5 against him, it's an actual battle, and Monty Williams is mirroring Jokic with Ayton's minutes.
Yeah.
So every time Jokic goes out, he pulls Ayton. That to me is why it's been fun because Ayton is actually taking that matchup and with pride and battling. It's great.
The other reason I like it is because everyone wants to look back on the 2018 draft and talk about Trae versus Luka because they were traded for each other. They play similar type of basketball, which is to say they both have the ball in their hands at all times and have 4 teammates just watching them do everything. So that's the natural comparison. And the Ayton Luka comparison doesn't happen quite as much, even though I think most people would agree. I would certainly even agree that I would concede this, even as I'm making the point I'm about to make, that Luka Doncic is a better player now than DeAndre Ayton and will be a better player until these 2 guys retire. But what is great to see about DeAndre Ayton in these playoffs so far is that I hope this brings back the idea of drafting for fit because I think DeAndre Ayton was the right pick at number 1.
Yes.
And I think that sounds insane to say because Luka Doncic is the better player, and we have now conditioned ourselves in 2021 that you always take the best player.
Best available player.
That is how it works. The Portland Trail Blazers taught us that twice. They did not take Kevin Durant over Greg Oden because they had Brandon Roy, and they thought we don't need another guy on the wing. We need a guy down low. That's what we need. They did it with Sam Bowie and Michael Jordan because they had Clyde Drexler.
Yep.
And we learned from their example, don't do that. Just take the best player every single time. If the Phoenix Suns take Luka Doncic, they're probably still pretty good.
Yeah.
They're probably, who knows, maybe they're up 2-0 on the Nuggets in the second round. But
Devin Booker would have asked for a trade already.
Devin Booker maybe doesn't sign.
Yeah.
Maybe Devin Booker gets traded. They certainly don't trade for Chris Paul. This dynamic of the Suns team, what makes the Suns team so fun, would not be there. They might be fun in a different way. They might resemble
like the Mavs.
Like the Mavs are fun, but they're not what they are. And I think, you know, if you just put a big pause on the NBA right now, and we all had to spend the next like 2 months discussing the 2018 draft, did the Suns screw up? I think the consensus would be yes, they screwed up. They should have taken Luka. Luka was the best player. You take the best player, and I think I've seen enough to say that they got it right.
No,
this is what they needed. They needed DeAndre Ayton. They needed.
You're 100% right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And I want that to come back in the draft.
Yeah,
I want fit to matter. I want like guys to actually have to think about constructing a roster. This is why you love the Sixers so much, is because they're built like a traditional basketball team.
I get it.
And positions are put into, I don't know, positionless basketball's fun, and we
well,
love
it's not like they're not
whatever,
unique because Ben plays 1 through 5. I mean, they're obviously a modern version, but it's still check the boxes of what you need. And DeAndre Ayton, to me, it's like Jokic, my humble opinion, Jokic is going to be the best big, the best player in the Western Conference. So if you were the Phoenix Suns in 2018, not to say that they could prepare for MVP Jokic, but like we got the big who can match up against the best big, the best player in the West. Like, that is a win. Like even if they did a redraft today, they would take DeAndre Ayton every single time, 100 times out of 100.
And that's what I'm saying.
Bagley was the bad pick. You know, that was the
one
that
bad
was
pick.
tough.
That was the bad pick. But when you look back on it, it's not enough to just say who was the best player. They should have taken them first. And a lot of people are listening or disagreeing, and that's fine. But my hope is that the DeAndre Ayton example moving forward, that maybe that doesn't need to be the consensus thought. I don't think I think you should still use who's the best available as the starting point.
Yeah.
I think that should be the starting point. But the idea of drafting for fit, it seems to be a lost art or a lost practice, and hopefully it'll be back. Hopefully this, because like the Suns, if you're being honest, the Suns didn't draft DeAndre Ayton in 2018 for fit per se. They drafted him because they thought he was the best player in the draft. And then it worked out that it was actually like an awesome fit for a lot of different reasons.
And guess what? He's the third option right now.
Yeah.
And he's getting 20 and 10.
Yeah.
So even that conversation, we've already I know we all coordinated Luka. I love Luka. I think he's incredible. But like DeAndre Ayton, the ceiling, if you want to talk in the draft terms, it's still up here.
If you gave DeAndre Ayton the ball every single time down the floor and said you have free reign to shoot,
and he can shoot threes,
and do whatever
and he can
want.
move well, and he's also learning a lot. Jokic has started this whole revolution of where the 5 starts the break, and I will not be shocked in 4 years if DeAndre Ayton's getting the rebound starting the break.
Yeah.
So I've been very impressed. You've been very impressed, and if you don't think he should be the number 1 pick, get out of my face.
Yeah, well, it's not. It was more. I wanted to voice that thought because I was thinking that as I was watching last night, that like it's so nice to see fit, because that's how the draft used to work, and that's how.
Well, it made sense too when you would watch the NBA during the season. You would say, hey, like the Warriors when they drafted Harrison Barnes, it was like this team needs a small forward. They have this great backcourt. They have Andrew Bogut. They need a small forward. You draft Harrison Barnes, now you have your starting small forward. You know what I mean? And that made sense.
Yeah, and now if you know the I don't know, I can't, if the Grizzlies somehow got the number 1 pick, and I mean people would say take Cade Cunningham because he's it doesn't matter that he's
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You have Ja Morant.
will figure it out.
They'll figure it. Like take him, and maybe that is the right move. And like I said, maybe that is like the starting point. You start there, and if Cade Cunningham is so much better than everyone else, then take him and figure it out and trade one of them, do whatever. But no, I would like more. I would like to introduce discussions more of like, well, what if they take Evan Mobley and it works out better?
Dude, Penny Hardaway, Chris Webber. You know what I mean? That's a perfect example of like Shaq's like, I don't want to play with the other dude that can't pass me the ball and taking shots away from me. What?
Yeah.
You know, like give me the point guard.
Yeah.
Hey there, thanks for watching Titus and Tate. For the full friend of the program experience, subscribe right below and come join us for all things college basketball. The action is heating up. Come join Titus and Tate.